Betrayal cuts deeper than any physical wound. It leaves scars that may never fade. In the world of Stoic philosophy, where inner peace and self-respect reign supreme, there exist betrayals that should neither be forgotten nor forgiven. Not from a thirst for vengeance, but because certain actions violate the very foundation of trust and honor. And these principles form the bedrock of any genuine relationship. When someone you've trusted with your feelings, vulnerabilities, and deepest thoughts turns against you, the damage extends far beyond the act itself. It alters your perception of the world, your trust in people, and most importantly, the value you place on yourself. Some betrayals demand not reconciliation, but a final period. Forgiveness is a virtue, but only when it doesn't compromise your well-being. Stoicism teaches us to accept reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. And part of that acceptance is recognizing when a boundary has been crossed beyond repair. Today, we'll examine 3 forms of betrayal that, according to Stoic wisdom, are unforgivable. These aren't misunderstandings or accidental mistakes. These are deliberate actions demonstrating complete disregard for your trust, loyalty, and dignity. If you seek emotional resilience and want to protect yourself from toxic people, this lesson is one you cannot afford to miss. Betrayal 1, Disloyalty, the breach that destroys trust's core. Loyalty isn't merely a virtue. It's the foundation upon which all relationships stand. Without it, there can be no trust, no security, no genuine intimacy. When someone violates your trust through disloyalty, it's not a mistake. It's a choice. A choice to place themselves above your bond. Betrayal manifests in many forms: the friend who speaks ill behind your back, the partner who breaks their vows, the family member who chooses personal gain over integrity. This isn't happenstance. This is character. The Stoics taught us we cannot control others' actions, but we can control our response. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Don't attempt to convince someone who has already shown you their true nature. Simply remove them from your life without hysteria, without revenge, with clarity and calm. When betrayal is exposed, the Stoic response isn't to dwell in pain, but to accept the truth, detach, and move forward. Such people often return with apologies, blaming circumstances or accusing you of overreacting. But repeated disloyalty isn't an error. It's a pattern, a habit. And if you forgive it, you teach the other person they can betray you without consequences. Those who've proven their disloyalty shouldn't have access to your inner circle. It doesn't matter how much shared history you have, how attached you feel. There are things after which relationships cannot return to what they were. Stoicism says, peace of mind matters more than false proximity. Better to be alone than surrounded by those who pretend closeness but betray you when it matters. Seneca once said, associate with those who will make you better, and welcome those whom you can make better. Your circle should elevate you, remain loyal even in your absence, and live by principles of integrity. If someone betrayed once, your duty to yourself is to leave. Forgiving betrayal sounds noble, but often it's simply a form of self-betrayal. When you tolerate betrayal, you essentially declare to yourself, my standards mean nothing. You undermine your worth by keeping close someone who trampled it. If someone has already proven they don't value you, the strongest decision you can make is to sever the connection without hesitation and never look back. A Stoic doesn't seek revenge. He moves forward with wisdom, not bitterness. He releases, but never forgets. Betrayal 2, Deception, the poison that destroys any connection. A lie isn't merely words. It's a weapon that undermines trust, destroys relationships, and annihilates the foundation of any genuine connection. One lie might seem trivial, but deception is never accidental. It's a behavioral pattern. It's a mirror reflecting a person's true essence. When you're deceived, you're not just denied the truth. You're deliberately stripped of your perception of reality. And that's far worse than a single transgression. It's betrayal at the consciousness level. Stoicism asserts, without truth, there's no inner peace. Without honesty, there can be no clarity, no stability, no real trust. Relationships built on deception are houses on sand. They may appear solid, but they're doomed to collapse. Seneca wrote, "A liar first deceives others, then himself." The deceiver becomes entangled in their own lies and can no longer distinguish truth from fiction. But their internal confusion isn't your responsibility. When someone lies, they make a choice. They choose manipulation over honest communication and selfishness over respect. Remember, respect and lies cannot coexist. If you've been lied to, openly, subtly, or through omission, it means your trust means nothing to them. And when trust is destroyed, it almost never restores to its original level. Some will say, everyone lies. It's just part of human nature, just small things. But Stoicism doesn't tolerate moral flexibility. A lie cannot be harmless if it destroys the bridge between two people. A lie cannot be insignificant if afterward you begin doubting everything that came before it. Deception isn't just dishonesty. It's control. The deceiver seeks to reshape reality in their favor, often at your expense. If you tolerate deception, you encourage it. If you forgive it, you invite more. There will always be those who lie to cover mistakes, manipulate to extract benefit, and scheme to avoid consequences. But you're a Stoic. Your task isn't to decode their motives, attempt to reform them, or search for truth where it never existed. Accept the fact of their deception and remove yourself from the situation. Epictetus said, "It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows." Liars don't seek truth. They're uninterested in honesty and growth. They believe they stand above truth. And that makes them dangerous. You won't change them, but you can change your response. A Stoic doesn't waste time on liars. He doesn't allow lies to inhabit his space. Every lie is a betrayal of trust. Forgiving deception isn't strength. It's an invitation to further deception. The only way to preserve dignity and inner peace is to walk away from those who chose lies over honesty. The price of having a liar in your life is always higher than the cost of losing them. Betrayal 3, Shattered Trust, the damage beyond repair. When someone betrays, they don't just destroy your faith in them. They shatter the very bond that kept the relationship alive. And in most cases, once trust is broken, there's no path back. Trust isn't only honesty. It's reliability, consistency, internal integrity. When you trust someone, you grant them access to your vulnerable space, secrets, feelings, thoughts. You let them into places you let only a select few. And if that person betrays through lies, infidelity, or deliberate harm, they were never worthy of your trust. Stoicism teaches accepting people's nature as it is, not as we wish it to be. People will disappoint. People will place themselves above others. People will betray, sometimes without even feeling guilt. But a Stoic is distinguished by how he responds. The greatest mistake is believing that shattered trust can be fully restored. That if someone apologized, if time passed, if they changed, everything can return to its former level. This is illusion. Trust after betrayal is like a broken mirror. You can gather the pieces, but the cracks remain forever. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When someone has done you wrong, don't think about what they did, but consider how you will respond." The Stoic answer to shattered trust: don't seek revenge, don't hold grudges, but preserve yourself. Don't forgive blindly, but leave with dignity. If someone has already proven they can betray you, why give them another chance? Would you drink from a well once poisoned, simply because someone said the water is now clean? Would you build a house on a foundation that already collapsed once? When someone destroys trust, they make a decision. Their ego matters more to them than your respect. Your bond, the idea of loyalty. Even if they later regret it, even if they beg forgiveness, even if they swear never again, the damage is done. You might try to pretend everything's as before, but deep down there will always be the question: are they lying again? Is she hiding something? Will this happen once more? And that internal anxiety is worse than simply letting the person go. Some will say, forgive and forget. But Stoicism doesn't teach mindless forgiveness. It teaches wisdom, self-respect, and emotional detachment from those who cause pain. Seneca said, "He who spares the guilty punishes the innocent." When you forgive someone who has already destroyed your trust, you're not displaying nobility. You're preparing yourself for another blow. You're sacrificing your peace for someone who doesn't deserve it. The Stoic response: leave calmly, with dignity, extract the lesson, strengthen boundaries, and never allow yourself to be betrayed again. The greatest manifestation of self-respect is knowing when to walk away. Forgiveness is for mistakes, not betrayals. And the final truth is this: trust, once destroyed, should no longer be granted unconditionally. If someone truly valued your connection, they would never have betrayed it. If they were genuinely loyal, you wouldn't doubt their actions. The strongest decision is to permanently remove from your life those who proved unreliable. Don't allow betrayal to become a cycle of pain. Move forward, don't look back, and never allow yourself to be betrayed twice. The hidden betrayal: betraying yourself. There's a betrayal invisible from the outside. It's not accompanied by infidelity, lies, or broken trust from others. It happens within yourself. This is self-betrayal. And it always begins with small concessions: when you remain silent though you should speak, when you agree though internally you're screaming no, when you forgive knowing you're destroying your own boundaries. You betray yourself when you allow people to violate your principles for the sake of peace, for preserving relationships, for fear of loneliness. But peace built on suppressed dignity isn't real. And relationships where you sacrifice yourself aren't love. They're dependency. And this betrayal destroys slowly but inevitably. Stoicism teaches, you are the guardian of your soul. Everything happening outside you is secondary. The most important thing is not losing yourself in attempts to please others. You cannot control betrayal from others, but you're always responsible for whether you betrayed yourself. When you abandon your values for convenience, that's not compromise. That's renunciation of your own power. When you keep close someone who's already destroyed your trust, you commit slow self-destruction masked as magnanimity. True resilience isn't about enduring pain, but about telling yourself the truth: I deserve better. I'm not obligated to suffer to feel needed. I shouldn't destroy myself to preserve someone else. Sometimes the greatest betrayal is forgetting who you are for the sake of those who don't see you. And this is precisely where you must draw the line in time, not for revenge, but for freedom, boundaries, protection of your inner world. Boundaries, your territory that must be protected. Betrayal rarely begins with something loud. It starts with the first boundary you allowed to be crossed to avoid offending, losing someone, or being alone. But each time you allow someone to invade your values, your space, yourself, you erase the line that should have been your protection. A Stoic doesn't build walls. He sets boundaries and guards them without malice, but with firmness. This isn't cruelty. It's maturity. Your energy is a resource. Your attention is a gift. Your presence nearby is a privilege, not an obligation. When you tolerate those who violate your boundaries, you teach them you can be used, that your no is conditional, that your principles are flexible. This isn't kindness. It's an invitation to destruction. Stoicism teaches seeing reality clearly and responding calmly but decisively. If someone repeatedly crosses boundaries, if they pressure, manipulate, use you, you don't need to explain. Convince, prove. You need to leave. True strength isn't enduring pain for others. It's the ability to stand and walk away without raising your voice. Your boundaries are your territory, and if you don't defend them, someone will certainly do it for you, but not in your favor. Remember, people don't respect what you yourself ignore within yourself. You teach others how they can treat you. If you want to be a Stoic, begin simply: define what's unacceptable to you. Once, calmly, clearly. If someone violates this, don't explain, don't plead, don't argue. Leave. Boundaries aren't barriers from the world. They're a form of self-love. And without them, you're doomed to repeated betrayal, pain, and inner emptiness. Pain as the beginning of freedom. Betrayal isn't just a blow. It's a turning point. A moment when reality drops its masks, and you either break or become stronger than you've ever been. Stoicism doesn't teach coldness. It teaches wholeness, facing truth, separating pain from lies, and choosing not revenge, not drama, but dignity. You're not obligated to hold on to those who once turned away. You shouldn't forgive what destroys you from within. You have the right to leave, straighten your back, and begin living on your terms without pain, without fear, without those who didn't see your value. Because pain is a lesson. Forgiveness without awareness is weakness disguised as virtue. Don't fear loneliness. Fear the loss of yourself. And if you're now at a crossroads, remember, inner peace begins with choice. With the choice to no longer be a toy in someone else's hands. With the choice to be yourself and stand firm. Not everyone deserves a second chance. But you deserve freedom. You deserve peace. You deserve your true self. And that's where a new chapter begins. Remember, the strongest move isn't revenge. It's indifference. Leave, don't look back, and build a life where betrayal has no place. If this resonated with you, write, "I am a Stoic," in the comments. Subscribe to continue your journey of wisdom and inner strength. Share your experience below, and let's grow together as those who choose power and independence from others' behavior. Train your mind. Master your life.